Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video of linear equation review. With this video, I'm going to cover graphing linear equations and writing linear equations. So it's going to be quick, but just to kind of give you a reminder of what I'm looking for with this stuff. So first part, just an overview of slope. With slope-intercept form, I have this y equals mx plus b. That is called slope-intercept form. Within that, I have two parts, m, the slope, and b, the y-intercept. So you can see there's some reminders about that. Your slope formula, that just says subtract the y's from back to front, y2 minus y1 over subtract the x's from back to front. So that gives you our slope formula. If you are graphing, you're going to use the more traditional rise over run. Rise if it's positive, fall if it's negative, always run to the right. And then with my y-intercept, the big thing there is just to make sure that you always plot that on the y-axis. On my graph, the y-axis is this one, the vertical axis. It's also the point 0b. So here's another quick overview on graphing. Graphing is going to be, your first step is going to be plot B. You're going to always do that on the y-axis because it is the y-intercept. Do M, and so that's going to be your rise over run over, rise if it's positive, fall if it's negative, run to the right. That is going to be written as a fraction. If it's not a fraction, we're going to put a 1 in the denominator. With writing, you want to find M first and then find B second. So here's your slope dude. He just reminds us positive, negative slopes, zero, and undefined slopes, what they look like. So let's jump in and do an example of graphing. So I've got the equation y equals 2x minus 1. So with that, it is already in slope-intercept form because I have y equals. So I'm able to go straight to my m and b. So m is going to be the number in front of the x. M is going to be 2 in this case. And then b will be the number in the back, or what we call the constant. So that would be negative 1. B as a point would be the point 0, negative 1. So if I want to graph that, I'm going to plot m. Well, right now, m is not a fraction, but I can write that as 2 over 1. And then b, negative 1. So I'm going to plot b. B at negative 1 is going to be the point 0, negative 1, or negative 1 on the y-axis, So I'm going to go down to negative 1. That's going to be my point B. From that, I'm going to do the slope, which this says I'm going to rise to and run to the right 1. So I'm going to rise 2 and run 1, put a dot. I can keep doing that. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. I can keep doing that for as many as I want. If I want to go backwards, I have to reverse them both. So I have to fall 2, run left 1. Fall 2, run left 1. So I have to reverse both the top and bottom. And then that gives me my line. Y equals 2x plus 1. This is a positive slope. M equals 2. So I would expect it to go uphill from left to right. All right, my second one, 3x minus 2y equals 12. I'm just going to do that one below. This one is not in slope-intercept form. Notice it's in what we call standard form, 3x minus 2y. So I need to get y by itself. I'm going to subtract the x's. And so I'll have negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 12. And then I'm going to divide by that number in front of y. Divide everything by the number in front. And so my equation will be 3 over 2x minus 6. Make sure that you reduce any fractions that do reduce. For instance, negative 3 divided by negative 2 will reduce down, and then 12 divided by negative 2 will also reduce. Now that I've got it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to look for my m and b, and so m is going to be 3 over 2, and b is going to be negative 6. I'm going to plot b on the y-axis. I'm going to go down to negative 6, put a dot, that's my b. From b, I'm going to do m, so I'm going to rise 3, run 2. So rise 3, run 2, put a dot. I can keep doing that. And then I'm going to connect these up. And so that would be my line. All right. Example 2 is going to be my writing equations. So when I'm writing equations, essentially I'm taking this and I want to make it look like these. Well, not that one. Make it look like these. I want to leave them in slope-intercept form. So when I write an equation, my goal is y equals mx plus b, but I want to fill in m and b. So sometimes they give you b, like in this first example, slope is 3 and the point 0, 3. So they tried to trick me because this is actually the y-intercept. And I know that because it's the point 0, y, or 0b. If you ever see a 0 there, that's telling you, hey, this is the y-intercept. And so they told me essentially that b is 3 with that point. Slope is 3, so that's my m. So my equation is going to be y equals mx plus b. And so there is my equation for that scenario. So that one was pretty easy because the point actually was the y-intercept. Now this one, not so much. So I've got the point 1, negative 2. It's kind of hard to see, but it is the point 1, negative 2. And then the slope is 1/2. Now they didn't give me the y-intercept in this one. They gave me another point. So I have to find the y-intercept. Well, my point is going to be an x and a y. Every point, the first one is x and the second one is y. And so I can fill in y equals mx plus b, and I can solve for b. I have an m, I have an x, and I have a y. So where I had an equation, y equals mx plus b, I can now fill in my known values. So y, I have right here, y is negative 2 equals mx plus b. Well, m I have right here as 1/2. X I have is 1. And then plus b, which I don't know. Now I can solve this thing for b. So I have one variable, can solve that. 1/2 times 1 is going to give me 1/2 plus b equals negative 2. I'm going to subtract 1/2 from both sides. That's going to make these cancel. Leave me with just a b over there. Negative 2 minus 1/2 is going to give me negative 5/2 for b. And so my final equation will be y equals mx plus b. But in place of m, I want to write my slope, which was 1/2. And in place of b, I want to write the b I just found, which was negative 5/2. Now I don't want to write that as plus negative, so my final answer will be y equals 1/2 x minus 5/2. That's going to be my final equation where I filled in B, and M. All right, the last scenario would be, what if they gave you 2 points? I still have to find M and B, but now I have to do a little bit more work. So I'm going to find M. I'm going to find M with the slope formula, which said subtract the y's from back to front. So I've got 5 minus 1 over subtract the x's from back to front. 5 minus negative 3. I'm going to then simplify that. 5 minus 1 is going to give me 4. 5 minus negative 3 is going to turn to a positive. So that's going to give me 5 plus 3, which will give me 8. And I will reduce that down to 1/2. So I've just found that my slope is 1/2. Now I can take that slope and I have a point, and it's going to turn into an example just like the one before. So now I'm going to use the slope. And I always say just use the first point. You certainly can use either point. I just say the first point because it streamlines it. So I'm going to use M equals 1/2 and the point negative 3, 1. And now I'm going to find B. So I've got my X and my Y. And I want to fill in my slope-intercept form. Well, Y we have is 1 equals M is 1/2 times X negative 3 plus B. Now I'm just going to simplify. So I'm going to multiply those. 1/2 times negative 3 is going to be negative 3/2 plus B equals 1. I'm going to add that to both sides. Those are going to cancel, and I will have B equals 5/2, which means my final equation is going to be Y equals MX plus B, but M is 1/2, so where there was an M, I can write 1/2, and B is going to be 5/2, so where there was a B, I'm going to replace that with 5/2. And so then there is my final equation. The last thing is just don't forget about your special lines. And so here, I just wanted to take a second to remind you of your special lines. Special lines only will contain one variable. So you can see on the left, if your one variable is a Y, it's going to be a horizontal line, versus if your one variable is an X, it is going to be a vertical line. I hope this video provided you with a little bit of review to kind of get you going, but have a good one.